So I just want to thank over the years, the great support that we get in building relationships with companies. And tonight, I'd like to just to point out a few things. One is the sweet potatoes are given to us from Airmark, who also has we have a great relationship with City Kid Java. Sodexo has done those great carrots, and those are made with our honey from our farm, honey glaze. Bon Appetit provided that great protein in that chicken. Taher, that kale salad, the kale comes from our farm. And then Parasole Holdings has given us the bread and dessert. So could you just thank these guys for us? It'd be great. Roots normally are underground, and they attach a plant to the ground, and they provide nutrients to the plant. So I've become, by accident, an urban farmer. We've built a farm here. We have a couple greenhouses. One of the greenhouses is hydroponics. We have 6 acres in Lakeville. We have a couple bee apiaries. We have a mobile market truck. We have a marketplace. And we're doing a lot of great things in this neighborhood to address hunger and poor nutrition. This is the way we've decided to really make a difference in the lives of families. So we've pulled about 100,000 pounds of produce off of our farm, serving hundreds of families in this very exhausting growing season that we're just so proud of and so happy to have been a part of. So what I've discovered is if roots are healthy for a plant, then wouldn't it make sense that they maybe would be healthy for us too? Wouldn't the same biology that's going on in a plant be the biology going on within inside of us? So roots do 3 things for us. Roots help us to see ourselves for who we really are. You know, there's a very, very thin line separates us from each other. But we just can't seem to help ourselves from creating barriers and divisions, whether it be because of our skin color, or where we live, or who our neighbors are, or where we shop, or worship, or go to eat, or where we've gone to college, or what our title is, or what our salary is. It just goes on and on and on. But then life happens. An interruption occurs. Something that's very common to us all comes into our lives. Cancer, divorce, alcoholism, losing a job, death. And all of those divisions that were such a part of our lives that we thought were so important become meaningless. And all of those divisions become things that don't even matter. And we discover that we're really the same, that we weep and we bleed and we suffer and we worry over the very same things. And that's when we actually begin to see each other for the first time, whether we live in Wayzata or on Lake Street. Secondly, roots help us to see others. I've discovered that poverty takes tremendous strength, a whole lot more than I have. I wake up in the morning and I don't have coffee and I get grumpy because I've got to stop at Starbucks on the way in. Whereas at the same time, a mother is waking up, her husband has left her, she has to get her 3 kids ready for school because she has to walk 12 blocks to work, rain, snow, for a 10-hour grueling shift on her feet at minimum wage, doing that so she can pay rent and food and clothes and medical. So who's really strong in this life? People with resources or people who are doing the right thing every single day of their lives and they're enduring? It takes strength to finish high school when you're the first one in your family to do that. It takes strength to be a dad when you've never seen one modeled. It takes strength to be old when you're forgotten. So we have a mobile farmers market truck that our youth urban farmers load up with produce from our farm. And we bring it into neighborhoods known as food deserts. And there we do these pop-up farmers markets. And one of the places that we like going to is Ebenezer Towers on 27th and Park. This is a place of low-income seniors, some of them abandoned, but so many more who are just amazing. And they're brimming with gratitude and with life. And one very, very elderly woman was in line to get some produce this summer, and she had this lariat around her neck that was attached to her apartment key. And on the lariat was printed the words, "I love Jesus." So I came up to her and I said, "You know, I know something about you." And she said, "You do?" And I said, "Yes, I bet anything that you're a person that loves Jesus." And she said, "Well, I do. How did you know that? He's my homeboy." For those of us who don't know what a homeboy is, it's an acquaintance from the same social background. Thirdly, roots help us to see our neighborhood. Last year at National Night Out, we took our truck and parked it in front of Ebenezer. And it was a crazy, wild night. It was hot. It was in August. There was a jambalaya of people, every shape, color, ethnicity. Hundreds and hundreds of people were out. It was the neighborhood. And our friend Renee from the neighborhood was doing Cuban dancing in the street with at least 50 people. And there was this elderly woman sitting off to the side, sitting in a wheelchair. And she was just staring. No, she wasn't staring. She was longing. She remembered what that used to be like. So now on this hot night, she's sitting in her wheelchair with a bathrobe on and huge pink curlers in her hair, dreaming. Renee spotted her, went over to her, spoke something to her. I couldn't hear. He reached down, helped her to stand up, put his arms around her, and they slowly began to sway, and they began to dance. And I kid you not, before my very eyes, she became 30 years younger. I didn't see the curlers, I didn't see the bathrobe, I didn't see the wheelchair. I saw this smile, this joy. And it was all because Renee stopped, noticed, and touched her. And I thought, you know, she's a modern day untouchable. She's the kind of person that we would look the other way or walk past because we'd be uncomfortable. But when you've got roots and you see yourself for who you are and you see other people and you see the neighborhood, that allows you to stop and become unafraid of what you don't know, and to be not concerned anymore about pointing fingers at other people, but to live a more generous life that's rooted in compassion and mercy. And so when our roots go down into a neighborhood and they keep us attached to the neighborhood and they give us nutrients to stay in the neighborhood, beautiful things begin to grow. And we begin to tackle the needs that are all around us, and we begin to make a difference.